now I'm going to get into the Oakland Raiders depth chart heading into week 3 of the preseason. And I think it's only right to start with the quarterbacks. Am I right? So the first guy coming up there is Derek Carr. And, well, Derek Carr, I think, is the clear starter. There's no doubt about that. What I really want to watch, though, is how Connor Cook and how E.J. Manuel do in their competition because, well, the third game is the dress rehearsal. And that's the game that could ultimately decide whether which guy is going to be backing up Carr or not. All right, the next position I'm breaking down is the running back position. And Marshawn's the lead guy who was an absolute stud at the end of the season. Last year, they brought in a guy like Doug Martin. But let's not sleep on Chris Warren, right? Chris Warren has been just an absolute monster, and I think Warren could make Jalen Richard step aside. I think he might be kicking Washington out the door. So, hey, this is going to be an interesting thing that I'm going to watch in the Week 3 preseason game. But I want to know from you guys, right? How many rushing yards is Marshawn Lynch going to have in 2018 if he's the lead back for the Raiders? And, well, Gruden has already said that he wants to pound the rock. He was really good at the end of last year, right? 424 rushing yards over the last 5 weeks of the season. So, I want to know from you guys, Beast Mode, how many rushing yards in 2018? Please comment below. The next position I want to deep dive into are the wide receivers for the Raiders. Amari Cooper, I expect a big bounce back year. Jordy Nelson, we talked about him earlier in the show. Martavis Bryant, can he live up to his hype? Dude is unbelievably talented, but needs to get it together. I like Ryan Switzer out of the slot. So, and Aitman also has been impressing during preseason. But, guys, I want to know from you. The show, right, just isn't always about me. I want to know from you guys. Which Raiders wide receiver will lead the team in touchdown receptions in 2018? I know Carr had 7 last year, but now they don't have Crabtree. So, which Raiders wide receiver will lead the team in touchdown receptions in 2018? All right, let's head over to the tight ends, because we all like tight ends, right? Jared Cook is a clear guy there. He led the Raiders in receiving yards last season. And you got Lee Smith, and I don't know what's more average, him or his name. No, I'm just kidding. He's actually a pretty good blocker. And then Carrier, he's probably not going to get too involved. But Jared Cook's the guy to really concentrate there for the tight end depth chart. And maybe the most interesting position for the Raiders on offense, it's the offensive line depth chart, right? You got Colt Miller, the first-round pick there, starting at left tackle. But let me note, if Donald Penn's healthy, he may be the guy starting there, right? So just something to keep an eye on. And then you got Hudson, you got Jackson, you got Giacomini there starting, and then Osemele. This is one of the better offensive lines in the NFL, no doubt about that. Raider Nation, today's Raiders Report is sponsored by Mizzen+Main, so I want to dap them up for making me look nice and dapper in my Mizzen+Main shirt. If you guys want to look nice and dapped up just like me, head over to www.comfortable.af. Mizzen+Main, those guys are pretty awesome. Okay, next one I got for you guys coming up on the board, it's defense, right? The Raiders' defensive depth chart. We got Khalil Mack there at defensive end. I get it, he's not back yet, but if he's there, he's going to be defensive end. And then the defensive tackles, Ellison, Edwards, and then Irvin on the outside. Irvin, this is the first year playing defensive end, and I'm excited to see what this guy can do. I wouldn't be surprised if he gets around that 10-sack mark. Arden Key is an absolute monster. Hurst has been blowing it up. I'll tell you what, there's a lot of upside in this defensive line for the Raiders. So, guys, I want to know from you, which Raiders defensive lineman is going to have the most sacks in 2018? If it's Mack, if he's there, I'm probably going to go Mack. I know it's kind of cheating, but if I have to take a dark horse, I'm going to go with Bruce Irving because, I mean, I think that's the guy who's going to have 10 sacks this year, no doubt about it. Okay, the next one I got for you guys coming up on the board, linebackers, right? So we have Derek Johnson there, middle linebacker, Whitehead over there, and then Lemur. So this is a team where this is the position that needs to step up, right? Without a guy like Navarro Bowman dominating the middle linebacker position, this is the position for the Raiders defense that needs to show up this year. So, which Raiders linebacker is going to have the most tackles in 2018? Navarro Bowman led the team last year with 89 in only 10 games, so I want to know which Raiders linebacker will have the most tackles in 2018. The next position I got for you guys is the defensive backs, right? So Garyon Conley is a guy who was one of my breakouts, and if he can stay healthy, watch out for him. He's really talented. Melvin, this is a guy, do not sleep on him whatsoever. I like Worley a lot. And then you have Joseph and Gilchrist. Remember, Gunther, he is a safety whisperer. Nelson out of Wisconsin is a guy who I like a ton. And then right two is a guy with a lot of talent there. This is a team that needs to be able to force turnovers. The Raiders bottom 3 last year in interceptions. So, can they force turnovers? I hope so. And last, and certainly not least, it's the Raiders special teams depth chart. You can see Harris there is going to be kick returning and punt returning. Long snapper there. And then you got Johnny Towns in front of the show, punter. And then Pinheiro, who has already looked pretty solid in the Raiders preseason games. Raider Nation, thank you so much for tuning in to the Raiders Report. My name is Mitchell Renz. Please follow me on Twitter at MitchellRenz365. Please subscribe to the Oakland Raiders Report on YouTube. And guys, just a reminder, I'm going to be on next Monday, not Tuesday. So until then, go Raiders.